How much will he serve?
Well, that's a very interesting one, Angus. Just to take you back to the High Court in Edinburgh only a few days ago, Peter Murrell had pled guilty to embezzling, as you said earlier, more than £400,000 of SNP funds. He pled guilty at an early stage, and that entitled him to a discount of around about 25% on the sentence. So the judge set a kind of headline sentence, that was 7 years. So technically speaking, he was jailed for 7 years. He then got 25% off, and that reduced it to 5 years and 3 months. So that's, if you like, the kind of punishment part of the sentence. The next question is, how much of that, there'll be a lot of speculation, how much of that will he actually serve? Now, I spoke to William McIntyre, who's a veteran former criminal lawyer, more than 40 years in the Sheriff and High Courts, representing clients on a wide variety of different offences, including murder. So it's a guy who knows the system very well, and he told me that it's likely Peter Murrell will probably be able to apply for parole, as you said, after serving 2.5 years. Now, the reason for that is there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, it's a kind of white-collar crime, so it's a crime of non-violence, non-sexual. He's not involved in organised crime in any way. He's, of course, a first offender, and as I mentioned earlier, he pled guilty to the offence rather than spared the taxpayer the cost of what would be probably a very lengthy trial. So these are all kind of mitigating factors. It's also, as Mr. McIntyre rather humorously pointed out, he's unlikely to reoffend. It's unlikely that Peter Murrell will go out and buy another motorhome with somebody else's money. So there's an element there as well that, it's a kind of one-off offence. As the judge referred to in the sentence hearing, that he's kind of probably been punished, that he's lost of reputation. He probably may never work again, may never be able to find employment. So really the reality is he'll be able to employ, I've been told, or Mr. McIntyre suggested, they'll be probably eligible for parole, to apply for parole after serving 2.5 years. And it's likely that would be granted, and it's probably likely they would be released from prison after serving 2.5 years.
Yeah, and it's been quite a Hollywood trial for a level of embezzlement that wouldn't normally grab the headlines.
Very much so. I mean, the actual amount involved for a fraud is not necessarily a massive amount. It's a largest sum, but we've seen other cases at the High Court in the past couple of years which are similar sums involved, and the individuals have got as little as 3 years. There was a case very recently where a woman had been convicted of embezzling. I think it was from an employer, a sum of about £900,000, and quite often these types of frauds go into the millions. So if you take away the fact that Nicola Sturgeon's husband, the former CEO of the SNP, if he'd just been Joe Bloggs, the likelihood is, first of all, it wouldn't have attracted the same level of attention, and possibly he may not even have been given the same length of sentence. Got to remember, it's a first offender. But obviously the judge has had to take into account the fact that, he's a position of power and responsibility, and obviously it's the duty of the courts as well to send out the right message.